It's January 1st. Happy New Year, 2019. And yeah, I'm out here messing around in the garden. In Ecuador, it's year-round gardening is possible. There's a few hailstorms that come through once in a while that kind of mess up the garden in December, January, February. But the rest of the time, it's always good weather. And as you can tell today, nice sunny day, blue skies, and green grass, and plants are growing. Well, anyway, we're here to talk about this garden. We planted this a couple of months ago. Don't have the exact date on hand, but we planted this. We used a lot of fertilizer we bought from commercial fertilizer because, a commercial guy that makes fertilizer. He said, oh, this is the greatest stuff. You know, it's all worm compost and all this. Well, we trusted him, and we built this. Now, we had, I don't know if you've seen the other videos. If you haven't, well, there's lots of videos on this. But we had a lot of grub worms in this garden area when we went to clean this up. So we decided to put in raised beds, and we've got plastic on the bottom of everything, as you might tell from right here. Now, we didn't put holes in it. We're kind of experimenting, and maybe that's a cause of the trouble, but we don't think so. Because we put in a layer of just fill dirt. We put in a layer of this, the yellow stuff that you can see here, which is rice hulls. They get wet and they really hold water real well. And then we've got also volcanic rock mixed in here because we don't have vermiculite in Ecuador. And also we've got, what else have we got in there? Oh, some sand. So to make this a nice sandy loam soil, which is exactly what it classifies as now. However, when we added fertilizer, we added his commercial fertilizer, and it just seems to have burnt all the plants. There's only one plant, it's a celery plant over there that's doing okay, and the rest of the stuff is struggling. We've cut off a lot of the yellow leaves and things, but it's time. We've just got to change this out. Now, we cleaned out some of this in the middle. We don't have anything planted right now because we saw that it was just burning a lot of the plants. So we cleaned this out and we mixed it in with some new soil that's kind of dead from the university, and that's part of what we've got over here. And then we mixed in just a little bit of fertilizer, worm fertilizer that we made, and we mixed in a little bit of the rice hulls and stuff. We're trying to bring that soil up, but until we get enough worm castings or we get enough of our own fertilizer, then that's going to take a little bit of time. You can see the similar kind of stuff over there with the tomatoes and the that zucchini, and that's starting to do okay, but it's still slow and there's a lot of yellowing on the plants. So we're going to be changing a lot of this out. Well, finally, our compost is ready. We had built our original planter boxes and filled them with my compost, our compost, and you can see they're doing just very well. And we know that we can make good compost. Been doing that for years. Just we didn't have enough material to really get going here. And we've been starting the worm business, and we've got 20,000 worms in the back that we're messing with, 15 to 20,000. So we've had to give them some food, so on and so forth. Well, sometimes you just don't have enough compost. And so we bought some, but then this is what happened. So what we're going to do, I've got a new load of compost here. You can tell probably I've just been putting mulch and compost in on the planter boxes, and so those are doing great. I'm going to use the same kind of stuff and just fill in around here. Now what I'm going to do is an experiment and fill in just around that cilantro over there that's just all dead almost. There's a little bit of green still showing on it. That's why we haven't pulled it out, but we're hoping that this is going to, putting our own compost in there, we'll fill this back in and make it work again. So I'm going to be putting that in on about a quarter of this corner, and then over here where the celery is doing kind of yellowing and all of that, this one plant's doing okay, but we're getting a lot of yellowing. So I'm going to take this quarter and fill it with our compost, and that quarter and fill it with our compost, including these onions and 2 of those pepper plants and a couple of cilantro. So I'm not going to fill everything with our compost and mulch. And then we're going to water as regular. We're going to see what all happens, because we've got still plenty of onions in the same general soil. We've got the celery in the same soil, and we've still got some cilantro in that same soil. So we're just going to do a bit of an experiment and see how this works out. So stay tuned, watch our next videos, and you'll see how this comes about. And I believe, well, just I do believe, we're going to have a whole lot of good response from it. If that fertilizer hasn't totally destroyed the soil, we believe that adding good fertilizer and good compost to the soil, even to bad soil, will make it come better. And certainly eventually it will, because we know we'll add enough of our own stuff. So stay tuned, subscribe if you haven't, watch for this update on this video. Here in another week or two probably we'll start to see some progress, and we'll see just how it turned out. Thanks for watching. Well, here's a shot from the other side just after I finished putting in that compost and mulch. This is straight out of the composter. I didn't filter it, and it's really just gotten to where it's cooled off, so it hasn't really had time to season or anything. I mean, it's fresh compost, and I've found that using it doesn't bother anything. So a lot of people say you need to wait 6 months or something, and yeah, it's probably a good idea to do that, but I've used it many times just directly out of the composter, and it seems to work just fine. So I put in a quarter of the garden on this one here. I put in the mulch and a quarter on that corner because we've got mixed types of plants. And I wanted to give kind of a close-up so you can kind of see. Ignore the weeds over here in the block holes. We were planning to, when we got the mulch, we're going to replace all of this, because what we found was from the guy's fertilizer that we got, and we've been pulling weeds constantly in here, but we've got all kinds of clover and different things that we believe that they were feeding the cows, that where he got this fertilizer from was the cow manure, and it's still got a lot of seed in it. So they never did hot compost it. Well, this has all been hot composted, so we shouldn't have any weeds in there. You know, I mean, they happen once in a great while, but typically we don't have any weeds in there. And it's got a lot of still a mulch and everything, the beneficial stuff. So we're going to see how that works in here. But I wanted to show you a couple of special things, and I'm going to try to remember not to cut these off. But this has got those yellow leaves in here. There's one other celery plant that's been struggling a lot, and it's right there. So we're going to see how that works. That was planted at the same time the rest of these were, and it's just struggled really horribly there in that corner. So we're going to see how all this works out, and I believe we're going to get a great testimonial to how this kind of organic compost really works. But hey, I could be wrong. I rarely am, but anyway, we're going to see. So this cilantro over here, you can see we've got just a little touch of green. It's trying, but it's really, this one looks like it may be totally dead. But we'll probably clean some of this up. But this one's okay a little bit. This one's got a little touch of green. We're trying to catch them before they died totally, but we're going to see how that goes. These are radishes that we've been experimenting with here, and they just weren't doing well either. These have been in here probably, I don't know, 50 days, and they're still not done. I mean, that's not right for radishes. So we've kind of abandoned, for the most part, everything that's in the blocks. We've tried some kale out here, and I think that's kale. I never remember what the name of it is. It's good stuff to put in the lettuce and make a salad, and the guinea pigs like it. So we've been harvesting this to give to the guinea pigs because it's just not making very well. We're going to rework all of this now that we have our compost, and we've also got worm composting running right, the vermicomposting. So things are going to brighten up in our garden. We're looking forward to it, and hope you follow along with the videos and watch what happens. Thanks.